you continue, and I want to ask whether this gives us an understanding of what you meant, that we don't really want to be seen to be undermining a post office prosecution. Firstly, did that represent your state of mind that Fujitsu should not be seen to be undermining post office prosecutions?
Well, I'm not sure that's... I think I needed to get some guidance on that, but there was certainly an example email I've been shown as part of this inquiry where I have actually said, in response to a report that I'd been asked, that I agreed with the defence expert, and Post Office decided to ignore what I'd said.
Can we just focus on the question,
yeah,
please, Mr. Jenkins? Was it your state of mind at the time that you believed that Fujitsu should not be seen to be undermining a post office prosecution?
Well, I was wanting guidance as to what exactly we should be doing.
Why did you need guidance on whether or not Fujitsu should just present the facts, irrespective of whether they supported or undermined a post office prosecution?
I just wanted to get some sort of guidance from senior management as to any communication I had in this area with Post Office. And the guidance I got was to just tell the truth, which is what I would like to have done anyway.
Did you need guidance from management?
I wanted to make sure that I didn't undermine anything.
Did you need guidance from management on whether you should just tell the truth or not?
No, I didn't need guidance. I would just tell the truth, but I just wanted to make sure that I was being covered by my management for any actions that I took.
You needed top cover for telling the truth?
I don't know what to say to that.
Why did you need management guidance on whether or not Fujitsu should be seen to be undermining a post office prosecution?
I just wanted to get some sort of feeling as to how to approach the response to the report.
When you subsequently came to give evidence in the MISRA trial,
yes,
very limited questions were asked about your the status in which you were giving evidence and the duties of an expert witness. Agreed?
Agreed.
Well, one of the only things that was asked was, in fact, by the judge. I'm not going to turn it up now. I'm
yeah, I know.
Read it out. You know the question.
Yes.
Is there any question of your evidence having been influenced by the fact that you're a Fujitsu man? And you said no.
And I stand by that.
If that's the case, why were you asking for management guidance on whether or not the evidence that should be given in response to a defence expert report?
I don't think we're talking about evidence at this stage. It was just a case of comments on a report.
Okay, so comments on a report,
yeah,
a defence expert report.
Yeah.
If your evidence wasn't influenced by the fact that you were a Fujitsu man, why were you seeking management guidance on whether or not, or what should be done if your answers might undermine a post office prosecution?
It was a case of whether my answers should be sent to, my comments on the report should be sent through or not, I suppose. I just cannot remember what the issue was that I was concerned about in this case.
When you gave witness statements and then subsequently asked questions and answered them in court, was a factor operative on your mind the fact that you, on behalf of Fujitsu, should not be seen to undermine a post office prosecution?
No.
Because that's what the politics of the situation demanded?
No, certainly when it came to court, then that didn't come into it. I just wanted to understand what I needed to do about my thoughts on this particular report, which was not, at that stage, anywhere near a court, as I understood it.
So you're saying that there's a material difference between providing comments on a report in an email chain on the one hand where you wouldn't wish to be seen to undermining a prosecution, and then ultimately providing a witness statement when such impure motives would have evaporated?
Yeah, I was just looking for guidance as to what I should be doing in this particular circumstance.
Did you get guidance as to whether or not you should simply set out the facts, irrespective of whether or not they supported or undermined a post office prosecution?
Yeah, I think that was effectively the guidance I got from David Jones the following week.
Can we go forwards, please, to poll 00156122? FUJ 00156122. Did I say poll? Thank you. And look at page 2, please. We're dealing with a different branch here. Alsford, large debt outstanding. And there's a reference to an email trail below. I'm not going to turn to that. But you say, this is another example of postmasters trying to get away with, quote, Horizon has taken my money. Dave Smith seems to have put me forward as the expert to help on this. How should I respond to his request? Does that reveal what your mindset was in February 2010 when you were conducting investigations into Seema Misra's case and providing witness statements?
No, that is me very poorly trying to summarise what I thought was being laid out in the email trail below. And I apologise for the wording that I used there, but it was me trying to do a crude summarisation of the email trail for management. I don't think I had anything further to do with that particular case.
A lot of people have said that they've used poor words in their emails when they say that what is recorded does not reflect truly what they believed. Did you believe that there were many examples of postmasters trying to get away with Horizon has taken my money?
I can't remember what I believed.
Presumably,
What I was trying to do was summarise the email trail below.
presumably, yes, but you say it's another example of it. Presumably, it does reflect your mind at the time that postmasters were trying to get away with, quote, Horizon has taken my money.
I didn't believe that there was any problems with Horizon that was causing Horizon to lose money.
So you did believe that postmasters were blaming Horizon by saying it's taken my money falsely?
I just wasn't thinking things through properly.
Hold on. I think you said that you believed that Horizon was operating correctly, so this would accurately reflect your belief. Postmasters were trying to get away with it by blaming it on Horizon.
I don't think... I think the issues are actually much broader than that. I think the issues are as much to do with the way that the post office was treating the postmasters and the support they were getting and the training they were getting,
Okay.
rather than actually problems with Horizon as such.
Can we move on to poll 00175839? And look, if we scroll down, please. An email from you to John L. Singh on the 1st of March in the Seema Misra case. Thanks for the information. I've now read it through. I can summarise. Miss Misra initially identified that the sub-post office was short of cash by about 80 to 90,000. She tried to cover this up while she repaid the losses which she thought was due to staff theft. 3, by the time of the audit in January 2008, she was £73,000 short, suggesting she had made good about £10,000 of the losses. And when she went to court, she saw an article in Computer Weekly indicating that Horizon was unreliable and decided to jump on the bandwagon.
Again, that's totally inappropriate wording on my part, and for which I apologise.
Well, it seems that rather than Mr. Singh being the originator of the bandwagon phrase, it appears to be you, doesn't it?
No, I was reflecting that from conversations I'd had with other people. It's not a term I would have used myself. The only reason I would have used it here was because I'd heard it being used by others.
Who had...
I can't remember now who it would have been. Possibly Mr. Singh, but I can't say definitively, obviously.
So back to Mr. Singh, perhaps?
Possibly, but I'd say it's not a term I would have used off the top of my head. I was clearly reflecting it that I'd heard it from someone else.
Were you able to approach the task of conducting investigations for the purposes of giving evidence in court, compiling witness statements, and then giving evidence dispassionately? Or
yes.
were you afflicted by this belief that these were sub-postmasters jumping on a bandwagon which blamed Horizon?
No, I did the analysis conscientiously all the way throughout.
Did you see your role as a Fujitsu man to help prove that Mrs. Misra had jumped on the bandwagon, and that, to use the phrase from the other email, was trying to get away with, quote, Horizon has taken my money?
As I say, I didn't think the problem was within Horizon. I thought there were other reasons as to what had happened, and so my focus was looking at seeing whether there were any problems with Horizon at that point, rather than the broader focus of what the prosecutions were about.
Can we look lastly on this topic just to see whether we find another tell as to what your state of mind was by looking at FUJ 00153115. This is an email of the 15th of June about the Misra case, saying that you had had a call from Professor McLachlan. I'm going to skip over the first 3 or 4 paragraphs. And the penultimate paragraph, you say to Penny Thomas, the good news, that's Professor McLachlan, is looking for problems in people's use of Horizon and not bugs in Horizon as such. Why was it good news that the defence expert was looking at people's use of Horizon and not looking at bugs?
Because that's where I thought the genuine problems were.
Were you pleased that his attention was not on bugs?
Because I didn't think that there were relevant bugs at the time.
Were you worried that if he did divert his attention to the existence of bugs, he may have found some?
No. I was concerned that I would be wasting time looking at other bugs that didn't actually apply in the same way as we'd already discussed with Calendar Square.
You thought that it was a waste of time looking for other bugs?
Because I didn't think there were relevant bugs to be looked at, because as far as I was aware, the bugs that had occurred within Horizon had been fixed.
That was all based, I think we established yesterday, on assumption and chat.
Yes, but that was still my true belief at the time, and it still is.
I think that's because you reject some of the judge's findings in the Horizon Issues trial.
Yeah. Yes.